Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is going to be a game between Barcode and Railgan here on Sequencer, the latter edition. And before we introduce these players, let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to Railgan, who is here with us today.
Thank you for having me once again, Falcon Paladin. Always pleased if I can talk to you a little bit about my games.
Yeah, it's always wonderful to get that background information as to what players are thinking as they're doing it on the channel. So, without further ado, in the top right side of Sequencer, the latter edition, we have the red Zerg player. It is Railgan from Railgan Gaming. And in the bottom left side of the map, we have the blue Protoss player. It is Barcode with two eyes in the middle in the color blue. And representing nobody. Okay, so this is my first time casting anything on Sequencer. What can you tell me about this map, Railgan?
I think one special thing is the third base. If you look directly south of my main, the third base only has 6 mineral patches instead of the usual 8 and only a single gas patch. So third base a little bit different, a little bit less money there. But you can see that I'm going for the other third base with my drone because I value the mineral and gas so much.
I can definitely understand that. Also Protoss, I've heard Protoss complaining about the lack of gas at their third base as well. So yeah, both Zerg and Protoss are very dependent on that gas. Terran not so much if they're going bio, obviously, but definitely a lot of complaints from 2/3 of the community.
Yeah, I think you can kind of adjust your builds, but Protoss always wants to get those high-tech Immortal, Templar, Archon carriers out there, and they really need that gas.
Alright, so we do have a Zealot being chrono boost out early here from Barcode. Why would he go Zealot instead of Adept here? Is he worried about early Ling harass? Because I don't know you're planning on doing that with the 3 hatches out already.
He actually didn't see that I took the third hatch as my natural.
Ah,
so
I see.
he might
just
have
now
been
scouting
worried.
Yeah, sorry, you're right. He's just now scouting that. So yes, that does explain the Zealot. And he does let it finish, immediately moves on into Adepts here, which is going to be something you want to see a lot of the early versus ZV versus the Zerg there, and your Lings are just chasing this probe all the way home.
Yep. One other special thing about this map is that it has so many ramps. Like there are ramps everywhere with destructible debris that you can kind of hold the ramps pretty easily if you have a lurker or 2 on top, stuff like that. And force fields are very effective on these ramps as well because it's so easy to block them off and to stop pushes.
I can definitely understand that. Alright, so 1 gas for you, got your 3 hatches up, you're making a couple queens, getting a few Zerglings and working on Zergling speed. What's your next course of action here?
Well, my goal right now is just to get out as many drones as I can, saturate my 3 bases on the minerals and not die to any of his pushes with oracles or adepts.
Alright, so we do have a single adept here, kind of waltzing around. Oh, brought his zealot friend, her zealot friend along too. So Lings and Queens have been always what I've said you want to deal with against this early zealot or adept harassment. But so far, good job killing stuff, but not losing his attacking units for Barcode so far. And he's walking into the third base now.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't really get drone kills, I'm kind of fine. I was a bit surprised to see the zealot walk across the map. Would have figured that he uses it at home to wall off, but he choose to just pull it across the map with him.
We do have, yep, Stargate opening. That is an Oracle. That is an Oracle coming in here from our friend Barcode. So we can go ahead and give this Oracle a name because that's how we like to do things on the channel. One of the more kind of silly fun things, but here it is. Moving across the map, we have our Oracle, and her name is going to be Kalamos, the Primal Lord. And apparently, the Kalamos says, I am all of the oracles combined. Wow, okay, so this is a pretty self-important oracle here, moving across the map. And you do have a single queen here at your natural base, single at the third as well. This is not good news, as oracles can pretty much handle things with a single queen stabbing away, going after these drones immediately, forced to pull all the drones on out of there, and does get 5 kills on the Oracle, which isn't amazing, but pretty good for an opening, and to be expected if there isn't any static defense there or more than 1 queen.
Yeah, what I'm really worried about right now is that around the 5 minute to 5 minute 30 mark is when Protoss usually finish up their Adept Glaive. So he will go for a Adept Glaive follow-up attack after the Oracle, and that's usually pretty devastating if you don't build enough units.
Yeah, he is working on a Resonating Glaives. It's about 10 seconds from completion here. You've got some Lings coming down, trying to pick off Adepts before they can move across the map. And, oh, just almost got that pair. But they're very low on HP, and I think they know they're going to die. They're being scattered out. No, the Lings actually juke past them, and the Adepts do manage to survive here. You're pulling back for defense. The Adepts aren't quite sure what they want to do right now. They're kind of going back towards their own base instead of moving out across the map, which is definitely a win for you.
Yeah, he's also following it up with the Robo, so he's going to have the trifecta of Protest Tech, Twilight Council, Stargate, and Robo, and from then on he can kind of react to whatever I do. Whether I'm going for a more of a Ling Hydra Bane Ling, more of a Ling Bane, or more of a Ravager Roach focused style, he'll be able to react to that with all the tech that he has.
Yeah, tech switching is pretty easy when you have all three of those buildings for sure. So the Adepts are moving out across the map. You're not taking a fourth base, even though your opponent is on 3. At what point do you feel safe enough to take a fourth?
Well, taking a fourth is not really a matter of safety. If you have a third base and kind of saturated the mineral lines, you can usually always take the fourth base without too much risk. It's just that, well, you have other things to spend your money on, meaning the gas and additional drones.
So here come the Adepts waltzing right into your main base here. Sonic transferring up, fighting the Roaches on the low ground, and then doing the transfer into the main. The Lings trying to get that surround, and they are. With Roach support and Queen support, this is going to go pretty well for you. Just Lings not as good, but Lings with Roaches and Queens going to start to whittle down this Adept count. They are not killing drones like they would prefer to do, but instead are actually trying to fight against the Lings here. Now maybe getting 1 or 2 of these drones here, but for the most part, that was held off very, very well.
Yeah, I'm kind of going for a Roach Ravager Ling Bane Ling composition where I get the Roach speed and then the Ling melee upgrades and the carapace, while my Protoss opponent is doing a somewhat unusual thing in going for Blink Stalker Sentry. And I kind of already threw down the reactionary Infestation Pit to that play. So that opens me to go for either Infestor, Hive, Broodlord, or the Swarm Host.
So you are morphing Ravagers up here pretty much at the front door of this third base of Barcode. I was trying to think of what you want to do against Ravagers if you're Protoss. What would you suggest against Protoss players who are trying to deal with Ravager attacks like this?
Usually the best thing you can do is just force field them away like he's doing right now. Use Potent Overcharge and then try to pick him off. He handled this perfectly, like I couldn't kill anything there.
Yeah, those definitely were good force fields. So I've noticed that a lot of Zerg players don't like using Corrosive Bile on force fields. Is that a conscious choice you've made, or is there just kind of you'd rather use it on something else?
It takes quite a while for the bile to land on the force field, and in that time the units that are force fielded off are usually dead anyways, and then you can also just replant a new force field, so it doesn't seem that effective to me. It's much better if you can just kill off the sentries with the force field.
I noticed you do have Banelings mixed in here as well with the Baneling speed. Very, very nice attack upgrades coming on those with the +1 armor at the same time. And Barcode is actually not working on any upgrades at all, which I find very interesting. But here we go. Lings on top of everything. Ravagers on the back. Banelings trying to connect on those sentries most of all and forcing a recall. Does manage to get out of there with most of his units, but a few Stalkers do remain to get swarmed over and destroyed. Oh, reinforcing Stalkers too. Bad rally. Bad rally for Barcode here. Definitely don't want to be doing that. They're Blink Stalkers, so they can escape temporarily. But again, Speedlings are their nemesis. They are chasing them down. The Oracle trying to kill them at the same time. And actually, 2 of them do manage to make it home with that Blink ability. Nicely done, saving those guys. And every unit counts here at GM. Another big push in here with the Lings on top of Zealots, on top of Stalkers. Corrosive Biles trying to land and kill something. But once again, forced to retreat out. The force fields are just too good. And Barcode's third base remains pretty much untouched. A lot of warp gates there and warping in a fourth base in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous position for me because Stalkers kind of snowball. Once you get too many, you can just start blinking them back. And if you have a high enough count, you'll be able to blink them back constantly. So you never actually get to kill any of his Stalkers, because by the time the last Stalkers have blinked, the cooldown of the first is over again. So that's why the composition is so snowbally and dangerous for me.
This Oracle, Kalamos, has 13 kills and is still alive with 22 hit points to her name. One of the more successful Oracles we've seen. Maybe wasn't too self-important after all. Maybe an actual really talented Oracle here. So moving up with the Stalkers. Again, no attack upgrades on these guys and no sign that they're coming at all. We do have Swarm Host in the composition now. Which, again, I love against ground compositions here. Really great against Immortals, especially against the Stalkers. Here we go. Going to pop them out. Some Locust coming in. Not a full complement of Locust, though, and that's going to force him back a little bit here. Nice kiting backwards here. Just a couple Stalkers are dying, not getting blinked back in time. It's just Immortal moving back and back and back and back. Already has 7 kills. Ling's right on top of him. The Baneling's trying to hit as well. And this just makes me ask the question, why do we not see fungal growth with Infestors here? It seems like that would keep the Stalkers in place. They can't blink out of fungal, can they?
They can't blink out of fungal, but you have to get the Infestors on far enough ahead to actually land the fungal down, and you somehow have to circumvent the Oracle. I mean, it would be nice, but it's also kind of hard to get out everything in time. Because in situations like these, I just want to get out the big beefy units and be able to hold the push before I try to do anything fancy tech-wise like at the Infestor, but they would have been great.
We also do have Disruptors mixed into the composition here for Barcode, continuing to push at your front here. We do have the 4th base up and running to the south of the 3rd, and the 5th base coming up in the top left, while a 5th base is also on the way for the Protoss player on the right side coming up that right corner. So again, just kind of dancing back and forth. Nobody really wants to commit here. The Oracles could throw it, not the Oracle, the Disruptor could throw out a nice Purification Nova and get some hits, but seems to be saving that for a little bit later. Working on a Nidus network just now popping in for you there, Railgan. And Purification Novas, do hit a few of your Swarm hosts there. Pretty nice hits. It didn't really lose much in the process. Locusts are landing down, trying to target fire these other units, just going after Stalkers, whatever's available. Good Blink Micro, though, not losing any Stalkers to these Locusts, which is not an easy thing to do, but Barcode pulls it off.
Yeah, the only thing that I can do here is kind of turtle behind Lurkers, as I'm trying to right now, but then I lost them all.
Yeah, excellent Purification Novas, losing all of those. Ling's just trying to get a nice surround, and actually might pick up a couple of these Disruptors as they're being cut back. They're a little bit slower than the Stalkers are, and trying to... they leave! They recall out, but all the Disruptors are left back home. Bam, bam, bam. Massive losses there for the Protoss player. Yes, he got those Lurkers, but losing all those Disruptors is something he does not want to experience whatsoever. More Lings pinning units up against the wall. Lings picking off yet another Disruptor here. Excellent, excellent focusing job. Meanwhile, more Lings here at the 3rd base of Barcode, actually not doing much at all. Come on, guys, you can do this thing. Nidus Worms erupting here just to the north of the main base of Barcode. Your Lings are just kind of hanging out. Can't quite decide what to do. Now they're trying to run in here and just kill what they can, but Photon Overcharge is up. A lot of Stalkers are here. They might pick off a single Stalker, but I don't know. Meanwhile, the Locusts floating into the main base here of a Barcode, and he has nothing to stop this.
Yeah, right now I really have a huge upgrade advantage, right? I didn't actually realize this when I was playing the game, but Protoss did not get any upgrades at all. None. So he really struggles against my Lings, and I got the Vipers into the composition to abduct the Disruptors so I can take care of those. And that kind of leaves me only with the Stalkers as the main threat, and my upgraded Lings are able to deal with those quite well.
Yeah, extremely well. Taking that 5th base down on the right side, no real defense there whatsoever. This 4th base also probably going to die. There's a handful of Adepts here, but again, the upgrades are better. +2/+2 Lings doing amazing job against no upgraded Adepts whatsoever. The Stalkers moving up this left side for Barcode. A bit of a pause here, which seems like a pretty intense position to pause, but regardless, Locust flying into the main base again, trying to focus down the Twilight Council, going after the probes, getting the gas, slowing down gas income is something you definitely want to do if you are a Zerg player. Meanwhile, the Stalkers are at Railgan's 3rd base here, going after your Lurker Den, getting a little bit distracted, chasing down these drones. I guess they can always go back later. And the responding force here, maybe not big enough to deal with this thing. It looks like the Lurker Den is going to fall, and it does, as well as the 3rd hatchery. It's turning almost into a bit of a base race. Oh no, the Swarm host did come home to try to deal with this. Lurkers on the high ground as well. Hiders mixed in the composition. I love this, especially with the +2 carapace that they have. And the 3rd base is managed to be saved by you. Stalker, Blinding Cloud being thrown down. A little bit annoying to avoid, but not too hard for Stalkers to get out of there. Yeah,
all he really has left is Stalkers right now. Stalkers really cannot deal with Lurkers at all. Lurkers deal bonus damage to Armored. So the reason why you don't see that much Stalker play right now at higher levels is that they are so weak to the Lurkers.
Yeah, that extra damage helps immensely. +1 armor is done for the Stalkers now, which is very nice. Locusts rolling into the natural base now, killing so many probes. 25, 27, or up to 30 plus probes have been lost. 22 drones have died as well, and the 5th base of yours is toast in the top left corner here. Adept trying to waltz in to the 4th base. There's a single spine crawler defending, but this many Adepts with the +1 attack should be able to handle it, and the resonating glaives, and they do. Lings come in and try to stop this thing, trying to stop the massacre of the drones, getting a nice, beautiful surround on these Adepts. All of them are going to die. Mothership Core here kind of by herself. The Spore Crawler getting some shots off, a little bit careless, and the Hydra's going to finish her off as well. So replanting the 5th base. The 4th base is still alive. 3rd base never died. We're looking at a nice base advantage here for you. What's your follow-up from here? It looks like Colossus for Barcode.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting to notice that where my Lings are attacking right now is a Queen Burrow that accidentally rallied down there, so he couldn't expand over there. And right now I make a huge blunder because I don't realize that I lost my Hydra. Then I'm trying to build Hydras because they would be kind of steady DPS and would allow me to get Lurkers out again. But I forgot that I lost the Hydra then, so I was floating a bit of money over there for quite some time.
Yeah, there's a single Lurker trying to defend this 5th base that is being replanted by you. There are burrowed drones here. Thankfully, there's no detection, or else they would die. And the 3rd base is toast as well. Pretty good stuff out of Barcode so far with his Stalkers. There we go, canceling that replacement 5th base. Purification Nova almost taking down the Lurker, but forcing it to move and then picked off by the Stalkers anyway. And again, these +2/+2 Lings are just the bane of Barcode's existence right now. His Stalkers take so much damage from them. More Hydras coming off at the same time. The Disruptor is going to die, and the Stalkers, depending on how good their blinks are, might get home. There's a single Colossus. There's the Abduct on the Colossus. The other Colossus hoofing it home as fast as he can. Get me out of here, get me out of here, and not really pursuing that. Okay, maybe sending some Lings across now, trying to see where that guy was. And are you going to miss him? Looks like you might miss him.
Yeah, my Swarmers is still doing damage. They have racked up quite a nice amount of kills, and he lost a lot of tech, and he can't really spend his money. If you check his bank right now, it's at almost 3k minerals, and he's not mining that much. He just doesn't know how to spend it because his gateways are unpowered. He's going to lose the Cyber Core as well right now, and
ooh. Yeah, that's a big deal. Losing that Cyber Core means he can't. I guess he still has a Twilight Council, still has a gateway, and still has 2 robo facilities. But if you had to replace those, that would be a big deal.
Yeah, you cannot build Stalkers anymore, that's the big issue.
Yeah, especially considering what's going on here. He does have a Dark Shrine. Has he made any Archons in this game or any Templar at all? He does have a Dark Templar, and he's lost one as well, but it's just a low econ game right now. There's a single mining base in the bottom right side for Barcode. Guess what? Ling's doing harassment there as well. You have taken a base to the south of your 4th, which is excellent, defending it with pretty much everything you have, as it's one of your 2 mining bases available. And Locust just continuing to kind of wreck stuff without much argument from Barcode.
Yeah, he should really send an Observer and Dark Templar over there to try and pick off the Swarmers, because like this is just taking continuous damage and he can't answer it. And did you see that?
Yeah, big time Disruptor hit. Big time Disruptor hit there at what is that? 6th base here down the right side. It's going to die. Colossus here with +2 attack. The upgrade's finally getting there for Barcode, and the base completely ends up falling. A handful of Lings is all you've got here, with Hydralisks. Got some Broodlords on the way, hopefully to deal with this very ground-heavy attack that Barcode's thrown down. No Zealots. We do have no Zealots, no Stalkers. We have Zealots. We have Adepts. We have a Colossus. Broodlords are going to be pretty good in this situation. Locust going after the natural base. That one's going to fall as well. That is the 3rd Nexus that's been killed so far in this game. Really bad news indeed. And replacing that 5th base up the top left side. That one's done. 3rd base back as well. So you're doing a good job replacing your bases and trying to deal with this big attack. There are 3 Broodlords in the sky. Is it enough to hold this off, though?
Well, he doesn't have a single unit that can shoot up, so...
So the other thing is Broodlords are slow, so I mean you can kind of abuse that by abducting the Colossus. Not quite able to kill it though. Zealots, with the Observer support going after these drones, trying to burrow, not actually going to happen here. 3rd base going to die for the 2nd time in this game. Again, Zealots, I don't know if you should go back towards the Broodlords, you guys. You're just absolutely getting wiped off the face of the map. He just kind of threw those guys away, no problem. But the Zealot and Colossus group heading over to this 5th base up along the top left side. Locust continuing to murder stuff at the 3rd base now of Barcode. And I really don't know what's going to save this necessarily. There are a few Lings here. The Hydras actually do manage to pick off the Colossus, who's not protected by anything at this point. The Zealot's just going after the hatch. They're going for the guaranteed damage, but no. Banelings coming to their backside. And this attack is toast, including the Observer.
Yeah, he can now finally warp in Stalkers again because he just finished his Cyber Core, and I finally finished my Hydra then, so I can build Hydras again. We were kind of both a bit lost over here before.
Ooh, the Disruptor almost takes down this 5th base in the top left corner with Purification Nova, but does get destroyed by the army before it can get off one more shot, which would have been enough to kill it. Hatchery down to 77 hit points. And these Locusts, man, I don't know why Barcode is just showing no interest in these, because they've got 7 kills, 12 kills, 13 kills, 14 kills, 6. Like, every one of these has so many kills. The 3rd base is toast, and he just refuses to acknowledge that this is happening.
All I need right now are infestors, and then I have all the free units in the game, right? But I don't think they're going to make an appearance in this game.
Yeah, a group of Stalkers here trying to do stuff. Another group of Stalkers on this right side going after the 6th base. Are there enough Lings to stop this? If the Zealots there, or the Stalkers rather, are... There we go, focusing the Lings down instead. More Lings are showing up. We're saving it. We are saving it today. Swarm Host could throw down another group of Locusts. They're not on autocast, though. Autocast is still a thing, right?
Nope. You have to do everything manually.
Okay. Oh, and Stalkers do take down that 4th base up along this left side. No, 5th base, rather. I get my numbers confused. But the Stalkers, who took care of it, are likely going to die here as well. So, yeah, this is an incredible close game. And that's it. A good game out of Barcode. Barcode is defeated, and you, Railgan, are victorious. Wow. What an absolutely insane game. Yeah, I mean, Barcode was down to 6 Stalkers and 2 Dark Templar and effectively 1 mining base, so I can see why he tapped out.
It's amazing how long he was able to survive with his Stalker composition, even against Lurker, Swarm Host, everything. I think you were right that some investors would have done a good job, but it's always kind of hard to add infestors in because you build them and then it kind of uses for a certain amount of time until they have the energy, and then you also need the burrow upgrade and then need to get them in position, and then they get sniped and you're like, why didn't I just build 2 Swarm Hosts instead? And,
yeah, that is it is something I've complained about for a long time, is that Swarm Hosts are just so big and chunky for spellcasters. Ghosts are hard to target down, High Templar are hard to target down, and then you have infestors that are huge. But yeah, the ability to burrow cast seems to help, but I guess enough people bring detection along that they're still pretty big targets and easy to snipe down.
Yeah, you need to clean the creep anyways, because you don't really want to fight on creep. And, well, if you have to kill tumors, you might as well bring an observer with your army.
Agreed.
But if you... Against Protoss, if you reach that Broodlord stage that I luckily was able to reach, because I don't know if I would have been able to stop all those charge slots and Colossi without Broodlords. If I just had Hydra's Lings, would have been a bit risky, would have needed a lot of Banes. But if you get Broodlords out, you're usually in a pretty good spot. Still have to be careful of Blink Stalkers, Archons, and of course Storm, and the eventual Skytoss switch.
Which is always a pain to handle. Okay, so like you said, as far as dealing with these Swarm Hosts go, just get a single Dark Templar and send an Observer over and just kind of wreck it, because these guys had really no right to do as much damage as they did. They personally cleared out the main base and the natural base and the 3rd base, and I don't think any of them actually died. So paying some attention there would have helped. I don't know if it would have been the difference in winning the game or losing, but definitely should have been dealt with at some point.
Yeah, he definitely should have. And I mean, he had DTs over there, but maybe he didn't realize that the Swarmers were burrowed, which wouldn't really make sense either. But I mean, he has DTs right next to the Swarmers, right? They're like a little bit to the side. And I couldn't really respond to the DTs if he were to attack the Swarmers, because I have no detection down there either. It would need to morph an Overseer and then drop Locusts on the DTs, and they would run away or blink away and would get all kinds of weird.
Yeah, and bringing a Warp Prism would be pretty nice as well. So
but I think one deciding factor why I won this game is because I had units burrowed at his expansions and he couldn't take them because of that. So he kind of ran out of expansions. For a long time, he actually had some drones, for example, probes at the right side of the map where my Ling is burrowed. And of course, where my Queen is burrowed as well. And he just never cleaned them up, so he never could expand there. So he kind of was committed to an all-in.
Yeah, he was really, really interested in killing your stuff, not so much at expanding back home. So sometimes that can kill you. All right, so resources lost 39,000. We'll say 40 for the Protoss player barcode compared to 27,028 for you. So really, really cost efficient win here and did exceptionally well. Just a good composition of units as well. I mean, in the end, what? It was Swarm Hosts, Lings, Banelings, Roaches, Hydralisks, Lurkers, Ravagers, Vipers, Queens. I mean, just a good mix of units. They're always fun to see all the different units available in StarCraft 2. And unless you've got something else for me, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up.
No, I just want to say I hope you will see some more great games on Sequencer. Definitely a fun map to play. Not really sure which race it favors yet. I know Protoss is going to complain about that third base, but I think it's a really fun map to play, and I'm curious what kind of styles we're going to see on this map. And I also want to thank you for inviting me for the cast today.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for showing up. Again, there are links to Railgan's Twitch and YouTube channels in the description. Please check him out. He puts out stuff pretty darn frequently and really good Zerg analysis and kind of almost informal coaching. So, all right, that's going to be it from us. This has been Falcon Paladin and Railgan coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.